Yesterday, we got this now infamous image of Trump holding up his chart of reciprocal tariffs. According to the Trump administration, China charges the United States a 67% tariff, the European Union 39%, Vietnam 90%. But the big issue here is it appears that this chart is completely fabricated because China does not charge 67% tariffs on all US imports. Because this right here is the actual data. And while yes, most countries to some level have tariffs in place, the overall effective tariff rate is almost always less than 5%. So that begs the question, where exactly did these numbers come from? And on this, it looks like the Trump administration simply took the trade deficit we had with that country and divided it by the imports from that country. That gives us the number that Trump says they charge us in tariffs, and then he divides that by 2 to get the new reciprocal tariff he just imposed on them. And this right here is the full list, and it gives us a more complete picture of this formula. We can see here that the deficit divided by imports as a percentage is basically identical to the tariffs Trump is claiming they charge us. And that's how he gets these ridiculous numbers claiming that Japan has a 46% tariff on the United States. And by the way, countries in which the United States has a trade surplus, such as the United Kingdom, are still subject to a base 10% import tariff. Now, when it comes to the economic impact of this, right now, all we can do is a guess, but most likely it is going to be rather significant. In 2024, the United States imported roughly $3 trillion annually, and with these imports, that is projected to drop by $500 to potentially $750 billion. Now, these tariffs will indeed generate revenue for the government. If the overall average tariff rate is 20 to 25%, which is insane, by the way, that equals roughly $500 to $600 billion in revenue. But two very important caveats here is that this most likely will not offset the hit to GDP, and this revenue is just a tax on US consumers. One projection is that the average household is going to end up paying an extra $3,400 as a result of these tariffs, which translates to roughly a 4.5% tax increase. And for low-income individuals and households, this tax increase is even more significant. So like I said, these tariffs are going to have a huge, potentially historic impact on the global economy. And one of the first things we are seeing respond to this are global stock markets. So far today, the S&P is down over 3%, which is very significant, with individual companies like Apple down even more, upwards of 9 percentage points. And that's because, like with most companies, their products are manufactured overseas and imported. And let's go ahead and do a basic calculation to see how something like an iPhone may be affected by these new tariffs. So as of right now, the tariff rate on China is 54%. The imported cost is around $400, and we're going to assume a pass-through rate of 75%. And this would ultimately be a $162 price increase, bringing the cost from $800 to $961. But potentially the worst part about these tariffs is the goal here, and exactly what that may be. We understand that the consequences, the risk associated with these tariffs are massive and could tank the global economy, and the upside is a lot less clear. This could all just be for negotiations, so essentially Trump is using this as a threat to get better trade terms, or maybe this is very serious and he wants to change America's GDP and have a better trade balance with more domestic investment.